Hey everyone, my name is Gabriel Lopez. Today I will be dissecting two news stories regarding California's new executive order that will ban the sales of new gasoline cars after 2035. Both newspapers provide important and relevant information, but their stories are presented differently as each paper focuses on different topics. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, signed the executive order on the hood of an all-electric red Ford Mustang Mach-E. He chose to implement this order for consumers to make a shift from traditional gasoline-powered vehicles to vehicles that don't use any emissions. In a dramatic move to tackle climate change, Newsom ordered the California Air Resources Board to ban new models of gasoline-powered vehicles beginning in 2035, 15 years from now. The governor says this order would lead to reductions in greenhouse gases by over 35%, and California would see an 80% improvement in oxides of nitrogen emissions from cars. The transportation sector of California is a big part of the state's pollution. The sector is responsible for more than half of all of California's carbon pollution, 80% of smog-forming pollution, and 95% of toxic diesel emissions. The first newspaper I'm going to be looking at is the Los Angeles Times. This news story focuses on the way the state of California has reacted to the executive order. This makes sense since the newspaper is published in California. The author of this article, Michael Hiltzik, first uses a quote from a conversation he had with Governor Newsom. Hiltzik then gives his analysis on the issue, calling President Trump the #1 climate change denier. He then says Trump and his administration, quote, has been rolling back existing emission standards and has revoked California's decades-old authority to set its own rules. The next newspaper I'm going to look at is the Detroit News. In this news story, the authors provide a summary about the order made by Governor Newsom. The authors then offer insight on how motor companies are spending money to create electric vehicles for commercial use. This also makes sense since General Motors and Ford are both based in Detroit. The Detroit News are reporting the same news story as the Los Angeles Times, but are presenting different information to the audience. Both newspapers presented the information differently in order to appeal to their audiences. The news story from the Los Angeles Times provided a summary of Newsom's executive order, but then started to discuss the effects it had on the state of California and their standards. The news story from the Detroit News also provided a summary of Newsom's executive order, but then discussed how it affected the automotive industry and what companies are doing as a result. Both newspapers demonstrated interpretive journalism. The purpose of interpretive journalism is to explain key issues and events and place them in a broader context. In this case, both newspapers took facts and wrote them in a way that would best reach their audience. I will put the links to the news articles in the description, and thank you for watching.